It's nearly 6 years since Bruno Fernandez joined Manchester United. Now, could his injury yesterday force them to enter the market next month? Roy Keane, not the biggest fan of the current squad.
United out of possession, they're probably one of the worst teams in the league. In possession, of course, they're good. There's a threat. They could have scored 2 or 3 goals today. But unfortunately, part of being a footballer, particularly if you want to be a top footballer, is what you do out of possession. Everyone wants to talk about what you do in possession, what you do on the other side of it. And Man United cut corners and they take too many risks, and that's why they're getting punished. And I'm glad they get punished. I like teams getting punished who take chances, end up letting their teammates down, their supporters down, and their fans down. And after the game, they're very blasé in the interviews. I'd be looking at players and I'm thinking they're like robots. They're like, oh, well, you know, we're a bit lucky, Bruno. No, find a way. Roll your sleeves up. They don't do that well enough, United.
Oh, he's so good, isn't he? I'm surprised you didn't come with your Roy Keane Christmas jumper today. Oh, calm down. Okay. Look, Dharmesh, a lot of talk about Kobbie Mainoo potentially leaving in January. Does this injury on Bruno Fernandez rule that out?
What we should say first of all is that whenever Ruben Amorim is asked about Kobbie Mainoo, and he's asked nearly every single news conference, he says he wants him to stay and he wants him to fight. That's what his first priority should be, is fight for his place. Roy Keane is saying the same. The biggest challenge is the one that is in front of him. Not going to another club, but fighting for his place at Manchester United. The problem that Kobbie Mainoo has got at the moment is that Ruben Amorim says that he's fighting for a place against Bruno Fernandez. And Bruno Fernandez is the captain of the team. He's going to get in the team every single time. Now you've got this injury to Bruno Fernandez. It's going to be interesting to see, but there's an injury as well to Kobbie Mainoo as well. He looks like he's going to miss another game against Newcastle. But if he is fit after that game and Bruno Fernandez is still injured, that is when we're going to see how much Kobbie Mainoo is in Ruben Amorim's plans. Because if he doesn't get picked then he can say, look, there is an issue, and then maybe he will go knocking on the door and saying, maybe I need to get my football elsewhere. But for the moment, it would feel very unlikely that Manchester United would want to sanction a move for Kobbie Mainoo, given there are a few players away at the African Cup of Nations and the fact that the captain is injured.
Dan, do you think Mainoo needs to leave, or should he stay and fight for his place?
Stay and fight for his place for me. You're at Manchester United. I think it's too easy to leave Manchester United right now. Everyone wants to leave, and it's like the better clubs, better run clubs. No, you're at Manchester United. Do a job. He's obviously not doing enough on the training pitch, because Ruben Amorim is not picking him because of personality or personnel. He's not doing enough on the training pitch to deserve his place. It's simple as that. I think if you're not working day in, day out as hard as you can, then you're not going to play. And yes, there's competition with Fernandez. Fernandez will play for sure. But there's other spots. There's Casemiro's spot. Casemiro's out of the fold. He's obviously knuckled down. His performances have got better. His training has probably got better. His physique has got better from last year. I still don't believe he's the answer. I still believe Kobbie Mainoo should be competing with him as well. He can play slightly higher up as well for me. But yeah, he's obviously not doing enough on a day-to-day basis to convince Ruben Amorim of a starting position.
Just on Fernandez, Kobbie, what did you make of those comments about United would have been happy to sell him in the summer?
I mean, obviously he was upset about the way his potential move to Saudi Arabia was handled in the summer. But I don't think there's much point going over an old story. The important thing is that he stayed at Manchester United. He's an exceptional player. My personal opinion is that he's far too good for the Saudi Pro League at the moment. And whatever happened. But the most important thing is he's still a United player. I think United need to add to their squad if they're serious about getting back into the Champions League, because I don't think they played as badly as Roy Keane made out there. I think they are really improving under Ruben Amorim, but obviously this is a long-term project. It's going to take at least a few more transfer windows before United get back to where they belong.
Dharmesh, do you think that United have got a type when it comes to signings now?
What do you mean type?
A type, like a type of player that they want?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're
I know what you're doing. Stop it.
I think their approach has changed a little bit, because Dan was mentioning that Brian Mbeumo and Mateus Cunha, both with Premier League experience, both have come in and I think overall everyone has said, yep, 2 successes. Benjamin Sesko looks like he's going to take a little bit more time, but he's come from a different league as a young player, new league. So you might have to give him a little bit of leeway. So I think that's why when you're looking at United's interest in Anton Semenyo, it would make sense. He has been in the Premier League for a few seasons. He is proven now in the Premier League, and he could come straight into the United team, not only to sort out short-term issues, but be a key player for a number of years at the football club. So I think that would be the approach, and it's probably a sensible one. It might mean that they're paying slightly more because the Premier League players come with a premium, but then they've been burnt when they've gone abroad, like 70, 80 million for Anthony. He's gone to Real Betis. There are numerous other examples where they've brought in players from, particularly when Erik ten Hag was there, the Dutch league, and it just hasn't worked out. This time, I think the approach is slightly different, and they want players who are Premier League hardened, and that's seems to be paying off for them.
So who are their potential targets then?
Well, Semenyo would be the big one. I think that would be the one for this January. And as I mentioned before, I don't think that they want to do panic buying let alone in the summer at any time. And maybe that has been a stick that you can beat Manchester United with in the past. This time they don't want to do that. They just want to make sure that they're really targeted in all of the transfers that they make, because for me, I don't know what Dan thinks about this, but they really do need to hit the jackpot with they can't afford to make any mistakes now, can they? Because of the financial position that the club is in, every single transfer basically has to work for them now, doesn't it?
Yeah, they've obviously wasted so much money on different players. I still find it baffling that they sold Rasmus Højlund and signed Benjamin Sesko. For me, they're the same player. You've just got rid of one young player and brought in another young player. And I know, yeah, give them time, but that's the one that I look in the summer and go, why were you the third, fourth choice from the other clubs? Why didn't Arsenal go for you? Why didn't... I think Newcastle tried in the end, but I don't think Newcastle are on the same playing field as Manchester United just yet in terms of transfer targets. João Pedro was available. If you're talking about Premier League experience and been there and done it, João Pedro is that person, and it's similar fee. He's obviously went to Chelsea and started really well. I mean, his goal on the weekend, it's fantastic. I don't see Sesko or Højlund doing that really. And they weren't even in for him. So, yeah, I see Manchester United now. Semenyo, yes, but again, he's not a number 9. And where do you actually put him in that team? That's the question. There's only a wing-back role available for me, and he certainly wouldn't want to play wing-back.
What do you think, Dan, that United could achieve this season? What would be a successful season for them?
Champions League qualification, possibly an FA Cup. Yeah, I see that as being a success. I see that as them keep building to where they need to get to. They're definitely improving, but they've still got a soft underbelly. They still lose too many games where they're in the game and then all of a sudden you've lost it and you come away with nothing. I still think they're over-reliant on Bruno Fernandez. It'll be interesting to see how long he's out for and how well they cope. There has been talk where sometimes they could be better without him, and he's undroppable really, but now that he's not fit, we'll see. So yeah, it's time for someone else to step up. I feel like a few players have done that. There's still probably more to come from a lot of them, but yeah, they're getting better, but they're not where they need to be just yet.
Kobbie, you touched on this. You know, they're on the fringes of the Champions League places, so surely they need to invest to get that Champions League money.
I think it's really important for United to get into the Champions League. I think, you know, obviously everybody knows they're hugely successful commercially already. But getting into the Champions League, especially under the new format of the Champions League, you're going to bring in revenue of at least an extra £100 million every season. And from next season, we're moving from PSR to squad cost ratio. So it would have a really beneficial impact as well on what they could spend on players. I don't think finishing in the Champions League places is as hard as people think this season, because I think finishing in the top 5 will get you into the Champions League. It's top 4, but that extra place depends on how well English clubs do in Europe. And English clubs are doing really well in Europe at the moment. So I think Manchester United have just got to aim for top 5. I don't think they'll be in the top 3, but 4th or 5th, that is what they should be trying to get. And then being in the Champions League, that would make it easier for them to sign players in the summer as well, and that would represent real progress under Ruben Amorim.
From Manchester United, what do we really think about Manchester United at the moment? Because after a 2025 that saw a 15th place finish, a Europa League final defeat, a cup dumping at Grimsby, and a host of staff redundancies from maybe some would view as a Scrooge or Jim Ratcliffe, how optimistic should you be, Simon, for Manchester United in 2026? How optimistic should Manchester United fans be for this football club and what they may or may not achieve? No Europe, remember. All the time in the world to prepare.
Well, I'm not a Man United fan, so I'm not optimistic for them or pessimistic for them. For their perception of their football club, I think there is a different Man United sort of expectation from the fan base. It's been worn down, as we've said previously, by the last 12 years of erosion. Doesn't help with the former manager coming out and saying it's going to be a potential another decade before they win the Premier League. Helpful, maybe honest, but helpful. Maybe you're not ambassador anymore, so maybe you say those things. Maybe the £2 million you don't get anymore helps you say those sort of things. But the fact of the matter is that I think United are better. I do think they're better. I think Amorim, I think some of the things he says I really, really like. And I think probably Martin might like some of the things he says. I certainly like his attitude towards some of these entitlement observations that he's made about younger players and supporting it and going after it and reinforcing it and actually standing up his own point, which is a delight to hear managers actually doing, saying something and then actually standing it up. Optimistic to do what? Man United, I think the fans this year have been conditioned into thinking that despite the fact they're Man United, that they aren't going to win things this year, that they're going to build towards something, and one of them was a qualification for Europe. So I think if that is the optimism that Man United fans are seeded in, then I think that's a legitimate optimism, because I think that's likely to be achieved.
You see, I think now, Martin, we're going to find out what this Manchester United side are all about, because life without Bruno Fernandez, Bruno has missed just 2 games in his 6-year United career through injury. One more through illness so far. He's now expected to be out for a month. So subbed at halftime, seemingly pulling up with a hamstring injury. They need Bruno Fernandez so much. He's absolutely integral to what they do, is he not?
He is, yeah. I thought that him coming off at halftime was the changing of the game.
Yeah.
Because when they go step out for the second half, Aston Villa are aware that he is not in the side. What have they done? They put in a centre defender, Martinez into midfield. Ugarte, there's going to be no productivity then from them, and so from a game in which Manchester United dominated in the first half, the psychological feeling in the second half is that Aston Villa can get control of the midfield. That's exactly what they did. So he is vital to them. He is absolutely vital. Can Manchester United go on, take 10 or 11 years to win the league? I don't think it will take that long.
Yeah.
They need to improve defensively. You only have to see there's elements of a game that you are in control of. You're in control of a match for about 40 odd minutes. A ball is played down the touchline. Rodgers hasn't controlled it properly to begin with. That's a chance for Euro to go and close him down. Stop him now. Stop him from getting turned with the ball. Doesn't just ambles out to it. And I use that word amble because that's exactly the word that Brian Clough used to use to Viv Anderson, who was a brilliant, brilliant player. He says, stop ambling, getting out to get out quickly, and then make your mind up about what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And that's the first thing that came into my head. He's ambled out to him. He's allowed Rodgers to turn. He's allowed Rodgers to come at him and just waltzed past him. And I know it's a great, great goal eventually. Yeah. And that sort of thing. And those are the sort of moments that let Manchester United down. Defensively, not strong enough. Have they got the ability to create? With Cunha in the side, Mbeumo eventually coming back? Absolutely. You need another strong midfield player coming in to be able to do things. Hence, Fernandez been...
I really want to get into the ribs of this Manchester United debate this morning, though, because Simon used a word a moment ago. Entitlement. Does entitlement only ever come from a lack of authority? Now, pre-match, Amorim has suggested there is an entitlement from some of those who pull on the United shirt. He made the assertion when he reacted to questions around Mainoo's half-brother wearing a free Kobbie Mainoo T-shirt at Old Trafford last week due to the midfielder's lack of appearances. And Academy kids Harry Amasa and Chido Obi posted, then deleted, pictures on social media highlighting their achievements after Amorim suggested last week that they were not hitting the levels currently needed. This is Amorim on this matter of entitlement.
A little bit the feeling of entitlement that we have in our club. A lot of players nowadays that they speak and they go against the clubs and everything happened because they feel entitlement. And then you have legends of the club saying that if you don't play, leave because everyone is wrong. No, let's think about, let's stay, let's fight, let's overcome. Maybe the manager is wrong. I'm the first one to say that I'm failing this club inside the pitch. I have that feeling. We are not performing the way we should be. But outside the pitch, I guarantee you I'm not failing to this club. The players sometimes forget about what it means to play for Manchester United. We as a club sometimes forget who we are. The players, the kids, they feel entitled. They feel free to respond the manager with a picture. My office is open. Nobody's coming to talk to me.
Now, I'm going to say it, Sam, and you listened to him there, and your reaction was very much one of, now you're talking. Yeah. Now you're talking, Amorim.
But I think that's brilliant. I think that is a top-to-bottom understanding of the challenges that football managers have inside football clubs, and specifically Man United. He talks about the lack of values. He doesn't use the word values, I'm paraphrasing it. But I think that's a very strong, very articulate, very measured, at the same time as very decisive set of observations. And I think that's the best I've heard Amorim speak in the 12 months he's been at that football club. That's what a leader at times looks like.
I'm going to put it out there, Martin, as we hit the break. But what is this thing? Entitlement at Manchester United. Is it a generation thing or is it an Amorim problem?
Oh, no, it's a generation thing. Absolutely.
Do you see it in young players?
Of course you can see it in young players. Of course, you have examples of it all the time. You've got two young kids at Manchester United tweeting something. Is that what they're on these particular
Instagram,
days?
Yeah,
something like this here about what they've done in the game.
Yeah.
They haven't done a thing. Entitlement, it's rife. It's absolutely rife.
But is it rife? I mean, would academy players do this at City with Pep? Would a couple of academy players at Arsenal do this with Arteta? Or is it because it's Amorim?
Well, no. I wouldn't be surprised. No, well, why are you saying it's because it's Amorim?
Do they sense a lack of authority?
I think it's very, very strong. No, what has happened is Amorim he's come in here, he's been tagged with this idea that you only can play a system. And when that system doesn't work, then everything is thrown at you. Absolutely everything is thrown at you as a man. And if you're not winning the games, he has admitted himself. He said he's failing at times on the pitch. And not too many managers come out and say this here. He is at Manchester United. He realises the task he has. I think there is a definite improvement at Manchester United. They need to improve, as I just said 10 minutes ago, defensively. But he is absolutely spot on, and you've got to root it out. But it's not. You can't. It's not just at Manchester United. It's at other football clubs. There'll be an example. Just let me finish.
Go on, Mark.
There'll be an example that'll come up in the next 6 or 7 months at some of these other clubs, and then you'll say, well, it's not an Amorim problem.
They bomb them.
The injury to Bruno Fernandez is a major concern for Manchester United, both in the short and long term. Bruno is not just another midfielder. He is the team's main source of creativity, leadership, and urgency on the pitch. From an attacking perspective, Bruno is the player who connects midfield to attack. He creates chances, plays forward passes, and takes risks that open up defenses. Without him, United's attacking play often becomes slow and predictable, making it harder to break down organized teams. Beyond tactics, his absence affects the team mentally. As captain, Bruno sets the tempo, demands intensity, and pushes teammates during difficult moments. Without that leadership, United can look passive, especially in high-pressure matches or away games. There is also a structural problem. The current squad does not have a natural replacement who can offer Bruno's combination of work rate, vision, and responsibility. This forces tactical adjustments that often reduce control in midfield. In conclusion, Bruno Fernandez's injury is very serious for Manchester United. While the team may cope briefly, extended absence significantly weakens their performance, consistency, and competitiveness.